Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below.
Greetings once again, Pokemaniacs. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more of the Pokemon Adventures manga. The story of Platinum Arc, whatever you want to call it. Where previously, Team Galactic is on the move near the battle zone, the battle frontier of this region. Well, near this region anyway. Under the command of Charon, they have managed to obtain the legendary Pokemon Heatran, severely injuring both Buck and Looker in the process, though they were saved by Platinum's Pokemon. With the help of the Elite Four and alongside the Pokemon Association chairman and Dr. Footsteps, Diamond and Pearl have set out to find these legendary, mythical, special Pokemon listed in Charon's notes in order to protect them. The first of which they come across, one they had met before, Rotom, coming to learn and understand about the various different forms it can take and the elemental properties that it's able to take on. Rotom takes a shine to Diamond, which is not really becoming a very odd thing now at this point, and actually wishes to go along and aid them in their quest to stop Team Galactic. Platinum has continued her defeat of the various different frontier brains, including Thornton and Argenta, leaving only Palmer. She's still doing this in order to grow strong enough to take on whatever challenge may come her way. We also see that Paka and Uji are still roaming the distortion world, unable to tell how much time has actually passed. What they can tell is that Giratina is on the move, and it's moved out of the distortion world and into Eternia City itself. What is Giratina after? Especially considering it seemed to directly go to destroy the amalgam statue of Dialga and Palkia. We'll just have to find out, shall we? Alright, we are entering into the final volume of this story arc. Volume 11 / technically 40 overall of the Pokemon Adventures manga. We got Diamond and Pearl on the cover. I know this is a joint cover, as Platinum was on the other one. We got Diamond and Pearl facing off with Giratina. Just like the other one, you got Shamish, and you have all the alternate forms of Rotom. Shamish in his Sky form, right? Alright, let's jump into this thing. Oh, you got the Elite Four. Lucian, Aaron, Bertha, and Flint. Yeah, I can't really be surprised that some characters aren't going to have a lot of attention, just because there's only so much time left. And you know, they're still listed as Pokédex holders, but they gave up their Pokédexes. We never found out what happened to the one special grunt, or the elite grunt. Oh well, maybe it'll be addressed down the line. Oh wow, full listing of all their Pokemon. Interesting. Although it's also interesting that Rotom isn't listed as being obtained by at least Diamond, like in his rotation or whatever. Unless, I mean, will he still have Regigigas, or will he lose it? It's still wild that he just has a legendary on tap, but he can't regularly access it, so that's a bit of a problem. It'd be interesting if they made that a thing in the games where you can only access the legendaries during like event moments. You'd have to work around having only 5 Pokemon most of the time. Alright, let's deal with this crazy worm. Oh, okay, this is the setup of it now. Adventure number 94. The Final Dimensional Duel, Part 1. We have the listing of all the legendaries, including Rotom, down at the bottom, as well as Rotom's alternate forms, We pick up at Veilstone City. We see Cynthia and her grandma, which, Carolina. Gotta remember the other name that she has in the anime. It's just easier to call her that than Cynthia's grandma. Oh, they're also with Cynthia's Garchomp. Love to see it. And Cynthia says, "What is it, Grandma? Why did you..." Carolina says, "Why did I call you out here? I'll show you. Look down there. That's a meteorite." She jumps into a nearby crater, up to a nice meteorite. He starts to caress it, saying, "Ooh, nifty. It's nice and cold. I can feel its energy." Cynthia shouts, "Grandma, I don't have time to play around. The battle's still raging. Everybody's fighting, you know." I mean, are they? And they're getting ready to fight. I wouldn't say it's raging, but I'd say it's about to begin. Carolina shouts back, "Hush! Cynthia, what's that, eh?" He points to the spiky building. Cynthia says, "Team Galactic's headquarters." Carolina says, "Right. Where you fought against Siren. And you used Draco Meteor. Even though you hadn't mastered it yet, you foolishly let your rage rule you." This gives Cynthia pause. as Carolina questions, "So, what are you going to do now, Cynthia? Use the Draco Meteor again in your next battle?" Cynthia says, "Of course, and next time I'll use the move perfectly." Ain't that she practice more? Carolina laughs. "Perfectly? Don't make me laugh. Titles can be a hindrance at times, you know. People call you a champion, and you get delusions of grandeur. You forget to strive for even more greatness. Isn't that right, Miss Sinnoh Champion?" Cynthia has no response. Carolina then says, "Cynthia, why do you think this meteorite is here?" The answer is simple. Because it fell from space. And I'm the one who made it fall. Oh, Cynthia is shocked by this statement. Oh, wow, we see a field of where meteorites fell. Oh, Caroline says, "This is where I mastered the Draco Meteor move when I was young. Draco Meteor is the ultimate dragon-type move. Forget that you're the champion. Train here. Start from scratch. I'll support you all the way through. Now, let's begin." Ooh, that's gonna come back and it's gonna be awesome. See, I love that idea though, that even Cynthia as a champion still needs to train. Meanwhile, we cut over to Giratina in the spot where the amalgam statue once stood in Eternia City. Taka and Uji are looking out from the distortion world. Taka says, "Did you see that, Uji?" Uji says, "Yeah, it crushed that ancient statue at Eternia City." Taka says, "And that's not all. The moment it stepped out of the hole, it changed shape." Uji says, "Oh, are we just standing around watching? We ought to grasp this opportunity to escape." Taka says, "Yes, let's go." And they jump down towards the opening. Oh. Taka says, what's going on?" Uji says, "The hole is right below us." But every time they move towards it, they find themselves moving away. But no matter how many times we try, we can't jump through it. As they get exhausted, Taka says, "The laws of physics don't make any sense here. Uji says, "It's been like that since we arrived. The only thing we know for certain is that one Pokemon has absolute control over this world." Taka says, "That's right. We aren't the only ones who had to figure that out, are we?" As they come across a petrified, Dialga and Palkia, sealed in some kind of element? I'm not sure what they're in. They seem to be dormant. Their eyes aren't glowing like they usually would. Uji says, "Hey Taka, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you get the impression that something's changed since it trapped those two in here? Before they came, that Pokemon was always chasing after us like we were toys, and now it pays us no mind." Oh god, that must have been hell. It seems as if it changed its target to something else. In other words, I'm not sure how to put it, but there's this side which is this world, and there's that side which is our world, the one we used to live in. It seems these two worlds have been kept in balance by those two Pokemon and that Pokemon. That Pokemon was unable to go to the other side as long as the other two were there, and it couldn't attack them either. But somehow, it figured out a way to drag the other two Pokemon into this side, its side. Taka says, "I see, and now the balance between the two worlds has been disrupted. Simply put, there's nothing to keep it on this side anymore, right, Uji?" So, essentially, Giratina saw its opportunity when Dialga and Palkia were essentially in a weakened state, which normally they never would be in had Cyrus not done what he did. Normally, they would never fight under any circumstances because they're busy keeping Giratina at bay. But with them being weakened from having clashed, there was nothing to stop Giratina. Shoot, they were caught off guard just as much as anyone else. Giratina saw its opening and it took it. But what is it after ultimately? Because, not to spoil too much, but it is the antimatter Pokemon. And what does an antimatter Pokemon do in a land of matter? No, not to say that the distortion world doesn't have matter in it, just very odd matter. Uji says, "Exactly. And for starters, it has destroyed the ancient statue of Eternia. It's demonstrated that it can defeat Dialga and Palkia together, and that it can and will take absolute control of that side as well." Oh, only enter Charon with a Slowking, who says, "I see you've learned a lot since you got trapped here." Taka questions, "I don't suppose you're..." Uji says, "Here to rescue us, are you?" Charon says, "No, I'm not. I came here for another reason. Feel free to stand by and observe." Taka calls out, "Uji, look!" As Charon gestures, the Diamond and Pearl making their way down the street with Rotom. Diamond says, "What a huge noise, Pearl." Pearl says, "Whoa, I think it came from over there." But as they see the destroyed remains of the statue that once stood there, they see something even more disturbing. Giratina. God. Be like, nope. Pearl says, that must be it. It's like the Diagon Talkia we fought at Spear Pillar. No, this one looks even more powerful. Suddenly, Diamond's bag starts to move, and out pops Regigigas. Get in there, Regigigas, you friggin' huge-ass PNG. Like, my God. I should just leave it, like, looming over here on the side, damn near blocking out my face. Or what you could see in my face, anyway. There you go, Regigigas. This Regigigas is not to scale. Hammond calls out, Reg! Down comes Charon on his little pod with Slowking just chilling on top, saying, I knew you'd call that Pokemon out. Well, I mean, he didn't call it out. Wonderful. All the legendary Pokemon of Sinnoh are appearing. Ooh, I want them all. Gotta catch them all. Pearl says, yeah. Diamond finishes, Charon. Charon is giddy, saying, isn't it that's amazing? Won't it be thrilling to see so many legendary Pokemon gathering in one place? Don't you want to catch all of them for yourself? Well, I for one do. But first, I have to get rid of you two meddlers, Diamond and Pearl. I see your Regigigas is spoiling for a fight, so I'll use my new Pokemon who I just captured at Stark Mountain. Out comes Heatran. As Sharon says, the first battle is Heatran versus Regigigas. This is going to be exciting. As Heatran fires out a fire blast at Regigigas' unguarded back as it's facing off with Giratina. Now, Regigigas knew, just like if I stick with these boys, eventually they're going to come across Giratina. Now I'm going to bop them in the snoot. Oh boy, wild. Okay, adventure number 95. The Final Dimensional Duel, Part 2! As Heatran fires onto Regigigas, Regigigas actually manages to dodge. Man, Regigigas is a friggin' Chad. Regigigas then tries to swing on Heatran, who manages to dodge out of the way. As Diamond and Pearl watch on, Diamond says, Reg jumped out of the Pokeball on its own. Pearl says, that must be a sign of the peril we're in, right? Charon says, that's right. You're in a terrible position. After all, the Lord of the other side of the world has returned to our side. Diamond questions, the Lord of the other side of the world? Charon explains, the legendary dragon-type Pokemon who was chased out of our world for being such a menace. Notorious B.I.G. He's a menace. Its name is Giratina. It's had such a pretty name for such a destroyer. Oh, and Giratina starts making its move. Just making its way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and it's crushing them underfoot. Pearl says, shoot! Diamond says, it's attacking the city. I mean, it's not really so much attacking as it's just taking a stroll. It's just everything else that's in its way. As out comes Rad Rickshaw from his shop with his Clefairy, saying, ooh, another hard day at work. And then there's a rumbling as he says, whoa, what's happening? And then his shop starts getting demolished as there's Giratina just making its way through. Not caring about the buildings in its way. God dang. Pearl calls out, Mr. Rickshaw. Diamond says, we have to help them, Reg. But Regigigas is a little preoccupied with Heatran. As Charon says, you're not going anywhere. This is why I called out Heatran. As we see Giratina, it's still making its way. But people fleeing, and I love the Clefairy just carrying Rad Rickshaw out of there. Once again, Rad Rickshaw is out and down for the count. Charon says, I need good old Giratina to turn this place upside down. And once it tires of destroying this town... But Diamond and Pearl are not listening to this rhetoric. Pearl says, Dia, isn't there anything helpful in that notebook the Elite Four deciphered for us? Diamond looks through it, saying, Charon says, what? The what? Diamond looks through Charon's notes, saying, that Pokemon is called Heatran. It's a lava dome Pokemon that slumbers in Stark Mountain. To awaken it, you have to go inside Stark Mountain, and Charon says, huh? That's my book! Did they manage to decode it? That confirms it. Those brats are dangerous. I can't let them roam free. I have to nip them in the butt as soon as possible. Okay, Dr. Wily, whatever you say. Or Eggman. I'm pretty sure he was voiced by, like, Mike Pollock at one point. Or a previous voice of Eggman. And he ain't beating the allegations riding around in a pod like that. And then I'll have Regigigas all to myself to boot. As Heatran manages to pin Regigigas and just pours on the heat. This is where having a mouth would come in handy, Regigigas. Then again, maybe not, because if you had a mouth, you'd be able to scream. But out of the rubble pops Mechanical Hands, and pushing away the boulders, out pops Mars, who says, "Ew, are you two all right?" Oh, it's not just Mars. Man, that is a great booty shot of Mars. I just gotta say. I'm sorry, man. But it's right there in the panel. I can't help but notice it. I've never actually been able to look like directly up her skirt from what I can remember. And it's just right there. Like, there you go. Take a good look. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And she's still wearing a bodysuit, so hey. But as they make their way up the, I don't know, stairs, Did Giratina destroy the Galactic HQ here? Were they just hiding out in the basement or something? Jupiter, and is naturally very silent, but Saturn, still in his mech suit, says, "Look at Charon running all over the place." Mars just giddily watches, well, inquisitively watches, I guess, saying, "He's shown his true colors now that our boss has disappeared." Saturn grows angry, saying he was only using Team Galactic to get a hold of that legendary Pokemon. What are you going to do about it? Mars shrugs, saying, "I won't bother with him now, but what a pain in the neck he is." Saturn then questions Jupiter, who says, "Our next step is obvious, isn't it?" Oh, they then notice a portal they notice the portal that was overhead. Mars says, "The hole Giratina came out of." Saturn says, "Don't tell me. You're going to go through it?" Jupiter simply says, "Cyrus is inside there." This catches the attention of Mars and Saturn, and lifting up Mars and Saturn and Jupiter, Saturn flies towards the opening, saying, "Okay, let's go get Cyrus then." See if you can actually pull that off. Oh, what now? What? Suddenly the Lake Guardians are there confronting Giratina. They're all looking at each other. Like, should we do something? We should do something. Should we do something? We should do something. Points to you if you know what that's a reference to. Charmin calls out, "Heatran, Magma Storm!" While Diamond calls out to Regigigas, "Reg, Crush Grip!" Rush Grip? Rush Grip? Rush Grip? Is the signature move of Regigigas, my god! Okay! In the words of Cusco, "No touchy! No touchy! I don't want no part of that!" Ooh, my god! Oh my god! Holy crap! Regigigas takes Heatran and squeezes. And man, I don't know if it's okay. I mean, this Pokemon was under the control of Charon, so I feel a little bit bad, but yeah, damn! Okay, I was right to feel a little bit ominous about Regigigas, because my god! As Heatran goes limp, kind of looks like Regigigas broke its neck, and it was all neck. Charon cries out in shock. Thomas says, "You take care of Giratina, Pearl. I'll be there as soon as I can." Pearl, taking off on his Chatot, says, "Gotcha. Come on, Chatler. I'm counting on you, Dia." Meanwhile, over at the battle frontier, a very tired Thornton says, "I've fixed it. I learned that this device is called a spy eye. I've managed to repair it so it can return to its owner." Ah. Palmer says, "Perfect. You're a genius." Enter Dahlia, who says, "Hey, don't you have any nice words for us? We're taking on all the challengers at the Battle Arcade and Battle Hall, because 3 of our Frontier Brains are taking time off." Yeah, Palmer, what are you doing? Just overseeing? Also, what's Duroc doing? Is he also just hanging out here? Like, come on, guys. Thornton's the only one actually doing the work. Argenta says, "I'm too old to work this hard." As the two sit down, Palmer says, "Thank you too, Dahlia and Argenta." Argenta asks, "So, what do we do now? You're tracking that thing's signal on its way back to its owner, right? How is that possible when the entire battle zone communication system jammed the way it is?" Thornton's half out, saying, Riley's going to use his aura to help us out." Riley says, "That's right. With my aura, I can sense the direction the spy eye is headed. Then I'll create an opening in the jamming signal for the spy eye to move through. Huh, that's wild. Dahlia says, I see, like a snowplow. Argenta says, then we'll know where to go and how. The only question left is, who? Palmer says, right. Since this plan relies on your aura, I must ask you to take part in it, Riley. Riley says, of course. Palmer then says, obviously Thornton can't go. And Rock says, and I am not at liberty to leave Lady Caitlin's side. Argenta says, right. A voice then calls out, oh, it's Cheryl, saying, would you please let us go too, as well as Mira? And we got Mira with one of my faves, Alakazam. Finally, they get in on the action. Palmer says, from the battleground, Cheryl. Riley says, and Mira. Mira cries out, our friend Buck got hurt. We can't just stand around doing nothing, waiting to see how this all ends. Cheryl gives a bow, saying, please. Palmer thinks for a minute and says, all right. But as Palmer and the others head off, Platinum is there, calling out Palmer. She's here with all of her Pokemon at the ready. Ooh, yeah, she's strapped up. Everyone's hard trained. And I think if anybody could evolve any further... Wait, no, I think they're all fully evolved. I don't think Pachirisu has an evolved form, so everybody's fully evolved and ready to go. Palmer says, you saved me having to summon you, Platinum. It's time to leave. You're ready, right? Platinum says with determination, yes. Palmer tells her, good. We'll be accompanied by Riley, Cheryl, and Mira. Oh yeah, Marley's off at that weird lake with the opening to the Distortion World. See, I kept saying I want the stat trainers involved, and here it is. Thank you. As Riley commands the drone, he says, this spy will lead the way. Oh, Palmer says this spy guy will lead the way. Please be in, Riley. So Riley, Lucario, and Riolu all use the power of aura in order to detect where to go. Riley says, it's that way. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Cresselia? Is that Riley's Cresselia? Whose Cresselia is that? Palmer's? When did he catch this? Wait a minute. When did he get this? Oh, okay. He brings up, shoot, we get all the legendaries of the region. My God. Okay. Palmer brings out Cresselia. Man, it's probably a good thing Platinum didn't take that one on until she was way past ready. When is she going to take on Palmer, though, too? Palmer says, hop on. And Riley says, I'll lead the way. Palmer says, thanks. And everyone boards on top of Cresselia as they follow Riley and his two Pokemon as they follow the drone. Palmer says, let's go. Dang, I was not expecting that. Well, time is only 12. Okay, that's not bad. I actually kind of like that we increase the age of some of the kids at least a little bit. Like, they're not always 10 when they're setting out, because one thing I'll say about Ash is like, hey, look, he should have at least turned like 12 or 13. At bare minimum, 15 at max. Shoot, what was the oldest the trainers got? I think it was in Black and White or Black and White 2? Yeah, like 16 for the, like 14 or 15. No, 14 or 15 for the protagonist of Black. And I don't think you got the protagonist age of Black 2 and White 2. But like, yeah, that was like the oldest I think you got the trainers. I do wish they at least they let Ash age like a good 5 or so years. That at least would make a little bit of sense. Now, you didn't have to age him a lot, but even just a little would be like, okay. Oh well. We're way off course with this. Alright, adventure number 96. The Final Dimensional Duel Part 3. The rest of the Frontier brains wave them off. Well, Dahlia waves them off. Brock just kind of stands there, while Argentia basically hoists a sleeping Thornton over as she calls out, don't worry about Buck, Looker, and the Frontier while you're gone. We'll take good care of them. Palmer calls back, thank you. While Platinum says, thank you all so much for your help. She then thinks to herself, hooray, I'm finally going to the Distortion World. And then she remembers the little sheet that she was shown previously of Giratina, saying, what's this, Giratina? Brock says, I'm convinced that this is somehow connected to the Distortion World you seek. It's the third Dragon-type Pokemon of the Sinnoh region, Dialga and Palkia being the other two. The people of ancient times called it Giratina, origin form. Platinum questions, origin form? So that's its original shape? Brock says, probably. And this is a counterpart image stored with the first. This one is called the Alter form. Platinum says, the Altered form? Another shape? There are some similarities, but it's hard to believe that this is the same Pokemon. Brock says, yes. What I'm about to tell you is just a theory, but I believe that this change in its shape is the clue to locating the distortion world. According to this document, Giratina changes shape to suit the environment of the world it's in. Also, I found another term used to describe Giratina. It was called the King of the Antimatter World. Platinum says, the Antimatter World? Doesn't that sound similar to the Distortion World? The world that supposedly exists on the other side of this one? Rock says it does. But if you're right, that means, Platinum says, I will have to face Giratina to get into the Distortion World to save Paka and Uji. Rock tells her, perhaps I shouldn't be so confident, but if you choose to go, I'm convinced you'll be safe. I feel certain that you'll be able to overcome that challenge. That's what my mistress, the owner of the Battle Castle, thinks as well. Platinum questions, Caitlin? Rock says, yes. She said you were superb in battle. If only Lady Caitlin had a little more self-control like you, then she too could be as frontier brave. But no, her forte seems to be more in the realm of instructing other trainers, and Platinum says, beg pardon? The Rock wipes his face saying, excuse me, I was just thinking to myself. At any rate, I bid you the best of luck. We pick up with everyone on a speedboat, following the drone with Riley driving while Lucario and Riolu are tracing it. Dang it, I forgot about Lucario for a second. I was so invested in the story. Get in here, Lucario. Mira and Cheryl in the speedboat while riding on Cresselia are Palmer and Platinum. As they watch them go out to sea, we see Volkner and Flint. Volkner saying, are you sure you don't want to go with them, Flint? I know you're angry about Buck getting hurt. While Flint's walking away, he says, shh, keep talking like that and I'll burn you to ash. You're ruining my plan. Let's go battle this super strong Pokemon before they arrive. Battle this. Wait, you guys are going in the opposite direction, right? Who are you going to battle? Or are you just getting transportation? Are we going to see all the Elite Four join in? Oh, this is getting juicy. Oh, meanwhile, we see Giratina sprout rings and go flying after Pearl of all things. Pearl manages to zip out of the way, saying it can fly, but it won't fight a swift air battle. So if its opponent is flying, suddenly Giratina attacks with its wings, with Pearl saying Shadow Claw. It's a dragon and ghost type Pokemon. Charon says, how perceptive. I'm impressed. He figured out the moves and characteristics of that Pokemon at a glance. Since Giratina's attention is focused on him at the moment, I can go about my business. Slowking, trump card. And Slowking does just that, seemingly attacking Giratina. As Giratina roars, Pearl moves out of the way, saying, what? Suddenly it sounds like it's in pain. Giratina then moves into the shadows or back into the distortion world. Pearl sees this, saying it's sinking into the shadows. Oh, that's Shadow Force. As he looks around, he says, great, just great. Roll it attacks from now. But as we see shadows creeping out from under where Pearl is, Pearl says, that's one down. And as Giratina goes to strike, Diamond goes rushing in, bouncing off of Charon and Slowking, saying, look out, Pearl. Oh snap. Diamond manages to push Pearl out of the way and is seemingly stabbed through the heart with Shadow Claw. Pearl calls out for Dia, and Diamond's eyes go blank. He hits the ground. Charon says, that was unexpected, but welcome. Doesn't matter which of them goes first. Pearl is shaken. He says, hey, you're just kidding around, right? Are you unconscious? This isn't funny, Dia. Come on. You're gonna do that joke now, right? The one where you jump up and say, tra-la-la, I'm fine, aren't you, right? Say it. Open your eyes. Tell me you're okay. Charon gets out of his pod, laughing. Oh joy, what happiness. That lucky coincidence got rid of Diamond for me. And now you've lost your trainer, Regigigas. And so, Regigigas walks away. Really? Really? I would have thought Trainer Renault would still be fighting. There's no way he's just dead. And there's no way we end it on that, but oh wow, Torterra's level 60. Nice. Yeah, nah, that's a hard pill to swallow there, Chief. Okay, adventure number 97, the final dimensional duel, part 4. Charon laughs. Man, this dude is a jerk. Oh man, I wish Pearl would deck him in the face. Charon laughs. So tell me, what should I do now? I could use Giratina to bring an end to everything, or I could eliminate you, Pearl. Or perhaps I ought to go capture Regigigas. What do you think? An enraged Pearl turns to punch Charon, saying, Charon, how dare you? But he's knocked back by Slowking as Charon continues to laugh. Now Giratina, Heatran, crush that kid. Attack him. Giratina and Heatran loom over Pearl, but there's a rustling in Pearl's clothes. Pearl goes to him saying, he is Pokemon. You see, Torterra hearing up. Licky Licky is crying. Bastiodon is banging at the Pokeball, so is Mamoswine. And Munchlax, who is already up, he's ready to fight. And even Rotom, Pearl says, they're all furious. Even the new Pokemon who just joined his team a few hours ago, Machadia, we'll get back at them. We'll get back at them for you. Charon, Giratina, Heatran, we'll make them pay whatever it takes. We may be defeated, have been defeated, but this isn't over yet. As Pearl, as well as his Pokemon and Rotom, go charging in, which means you got Luxray and Infernape. That's how you can tell we're getting to the end. I start getting a lot of Pokemon on the list. Charon recoils, saying, oh, that's Rotom. When did you capture it? Even so, you only have ordinary Pokemon. How could you ever hope to defeat legendary Pokemon with them? Only for, a figure to move in behind Charon. Yeah, your head was a little too big. You were lifting off the ground, so you didn't hear the footsteps, but Regigigas has entered the picture and sets down something as Charon is moved out of the way by Slowking. He says, it came back? The Pearl sees what Regigigas sets down, saying those are Rotom's 5 electrical appliances. Oh man, Regigigas is Regigigas, man. You know, I was questioning it just to up and Leo. I'm like, that's not right. Even if the trainer died, the Pokemon wouldn't just like give up like that. It'd be like, okay, now I'm just gonna beat your ass with just my fist. I can't do any special moves, but we about to scrap one way or the other. And Regigigas looks over at Diamond, then gives a nod to Rotom, who gives a nod back. And so Rotom goes into Rotom mode, firing out Leaf Blades aplenty, hitting Charon quite a lot. Oh, Pearl says Leaf Storm. And then Rotom goes into Frost Rotom form and uses Blizzard. Goes into Wash Rotom mode and uses Hydro Pump, goes into Fan Rotom mode and uses Air Slash, then Heat Rotom mode and uses Overheat, just literally cooking Charon. Charon reels from everything that's happened. Giratina, not looking to get left out, lunges at Regigigas. Oh, god damn! Holy crap! Yo! Regigigas like a judo toss on Giratina and slams it into Heatran. Like, oh, and then takes a rocket. What the hell? Yo! Okay, I was right. Time and time again, I keep saying this. Regigigas always made me unnerved because it just felt like it had too much power. I didn't think this much power because it is giving Giratina and Heatran the business. My god, just buried them under a mountain. And then out pops Giratina from all that rubble, like, screw you guys, I'm going home. And yeah, it full on goes into the distortion world. Dang. Oh man, Regigigas ain't playing around. Charon jumps into his pod, saying, we'll retreat for now. Come back, Heatran. And he recalls Heatran and tries to take off with his Slowking, only for Regigigas to just start swiping and grabbing at him. And Charon goes into the distortion world as well. Pearl watches this, and as the hole closes, says the hole closed. It escaped, and it changed shape. In come the chairman and Dr. Footsteps, calling out to Pearl. Pearl says, Chairman and Dr. Footsteps. The chairman says, we fell asleep waiting for you at the old chateau. Friggin' useless. But a huge explosion awoke us, and this is what we saw. What happened? Footsteps says, oh, wowee, I've never seen footsteps like these before. They're mine now, all mine. Pokemon with 6 legs. They're everywhere. I'll collect all of them. My reading of the 6-legged one is that, it's harboring a grudge. It feels rejected and sensing destruction. A will to dominate. Well, scary. No kidding. Maybe it is the Pokemon world's version of Satan or Lucifer. Says, as for Regigigas, sorrow, deep sorrow. Pearl says, you don't have to tell me, Dr. Footsteps. I saw it happen right in front of me. Dia was... But then he looks over to Dia's body, and it seems to be dissipating? Like it's going into the distortion world. What? The chairman says, Dia, what's happening? Pearl says, what? And in a massive flash, Dia's body is gone. Pearl says, Dia, are you... We then cut over to Route 224, where Marnie is by a lake looking at the flowers. She says, the Gracida flower. He then brings out the letter from Professor Oak saying, in the letter I received from Professor Oak, if the information in this letter is correct, I should be able to meet that Pokemon here. Please, come out. I need your help, please. Oh, she came for Shame. Man, this is like the second series that has put her with Shamish. Because I was looking into, like, episodes she was in, and Marley was paired with Shamish. Like, what? Is that just a thing? Is there like a specific reason this keeps happening in adaptations? Like, why is Marley so paired with Seamus so often? Oh, even in Pokemon Masters EX, she's usually paired with Arcanine, but she also has a sync pair with Shaman. That's wild. Okay, I need to know in the comments, what is it about Marnie that makes her such a good pair for Shaman? Because that is interesting. To happen once is one thing, but 3 times in anime, manga, and a spin-off game? I am very interested in that. And apparently in Pokemon Platinum, she uses Raikou at one point. That is so interesting. Yeah, and so holding the flower, it seems to direct her towards a little rustling patch of flowers, and Shaman moves out as Marnie comes to greet it. Whoa, Regigigas is level 75. Dude, that's cool. And then Mamoswine level 65. What the heck? Man, that thing... Okay, Mamoswine was a lot stronger than I thought it was. Oh, a lot stronger. Man, no wonder Dawn in the manga in the anime had so much trouble controlling hers. Again, read up on this stuff. But dang, man, Diamond must really be pretty dang skilled to be commanding a level 75 Pokemon. And even with all of his Pokemon at the levels that they're at, it's more of a 50 to 65 range. But then you hit Regigigas and it's just like, shit. Like, yeah, damn. Alright, now we enter into adventure number 98, the Final Dimensional Duel, Part 5. Gotta say, this finale, a mile a minute. Like, that's the thing about these finales. When they just start going, they start going, baby. Oh, we pick up with Volkner and Flint. Volkner says, is this it? Flint says, this is it. Volkner says, the hole is gone. Flint says, yeah, I've learned of a place called Turnback Cave that's quite close to here. It's said that this cave is connected to the underworld. Maybe we'll find something scary at the end of it, huh? Volkner punches him in the leg saying, cut it out. Flint says, hey, what are you hitting me for? Volkner says, you're suggesting that this underworld could be that distortion world everyone's looking for. Flint says, yes. I don't know how strong this opponent is. I intend to beat the living daylights out of it, says, smacking his hand. As they head in with their Pokemon Magmortar and Electivire, Flint says, but not to get revenge for Buck, right? Volkner says, I never said that. While Flint says, I see it in your eyes. You want me to scorch you? Oh my goodness. They slide down towards the cave near the lake. Okay, so they're near where Marnie is, right? Wonder if there'll be a bit of a team up. And as they enter the cave, Volkner says, this must be the place. Flint pats himself off from the dirt, saying, the others haven't arrived from the battleground yet. Let's go spelunking. Only for Marnie to see them entering the cave, though she remains silent. As they make their way through, Volkner says, the cave is filled with some kind of fog. While Flint says, it must be connected to the underworld, all right. Volkner seems like he wants to say something, but doesn't. But Flint catches the hint, saying, I'm not freaking out, okay? And why are you staring at me? I'll burn you. I can see why they're the best of friends. Volkner says, for the past month, we've challenged several hundred trainers who have entered the battle zone. So I know you're in top condition now. You're trembling with excitement, aren't you? Flint looks away, saying, yes, that's right. But they then sense something, and at the ready they say, let's go, as their Pokemon are at the ready too. Meanwhile, with the drone being traced by Lolu, which is being followed by everyone else. I'm not saying all their names. The group with Platinum. Palmer says, "Where is it now, Riley?" Riley says, I'm still picking up its signal clearly. Mira says, "Can you tell where it's headed yet?" Cheryl, looking at a map, says, we've been moving in a straight line since we left the battle zone. So if it keeps on like this, the Sinnoh mainland will arrive at the spring path." Platinum turns, saying, Palmer? Palmer says, "What?" Platinum says, "I've been meaning to ask ever since we left. What kind of Pokemon is this?" Palmer says, "It's Cresselia, one of the legendary Pokemon. I met it on Full Moon Island, north of Kanalav City." Oh, it's what's his name again? Aldrich. Yeah, Aldrich. Oh, they even say it right there. Palmer says, "It all happened several weeks ago." As he arrives at Eldritch's house, he says, "Hey, Eldritch, what's up?" Who doesn't Eldritch know? Eldritch comes out saying, "Palmer, my son, Vijay, he's fallen asleep and I can't wake him up. He's moaning and groaning in his sleep." We see Eldritch motion to the bed with his son, with the mother looking over. Palmer goes over saying, "Have you spoken to Byron and Riley about this?" Eldritch says, "They aren't here. You're the only one I could turn to for help." They cut over to the Kanalav library, where Palmer's researcher is saying to wake him from his nightmare, we need the lunar wing from Full Moon Island. Eldritch drags him along, saying, "We can go there on my ship. Can you come right away?" I don't think you got a choice. Palmer says, "When we got there, the island was in chaos. All the Pokemon were asleep and having nightmares. They're in a terrible state. They used up all the potions and berries I had, and it still wasn't enough. But then, you see Cresselia flying overhead." Palmer says, "Lunar Dance, a move that can cure anything, and only the legendary Pokemon Cresselia can use it." We see a lunar wing fly off of it. Palmer explains to Platinum, "Since then, Cresselia hasn't left my side." Platinum says, "What about your son?" But I mean, what about their son? It's probably the correct thing. Palmer says, "He woke up and he's doing fine." Platinum says, "Thank goodness." "And the nightmares that haunted the Pokemon on Full Moon Island?" Palmer says, "Well, it might have been caused by the same thing that made Eldritch's son have nightmares." Platinum thinks, Kanalav City, nightmares. And the only thing I can think of is Darkrai, but Darkrai hasn't really factored in so far. But Mira calls back, "We're landing soon." And as they arrive at the destination, Riley's still following the drone. It stops. The light blinking on above its camera. Mira says, "It stopped. Is it broken?" Cheryl says, "The light's blinking." Palmer says, "That means we're here." Platinum says, "And the owner of the Spy Eye is somewhere in the vicinity of Sendoff Spring." Oh my. Riley says, "Be careful. They could attack from anywhere." But Riolu seems to detect something. Riley says, "Who's there? Show yourself." And Marley comes out of a cave. Mira calls out to Marley, while Cheryl says, "What are you doing here?" Only for us to see that she is the hostage of the advanced grunt as she's holding Shamish. Oh man, the Chingaling freaking has this little whatchamacallit around Marley's neck. My god. And that tough as nails Gibble. I will never doubt a Gibble again. Between Ashes and this grunt, I will never doubt the power of a Gibble. Palmer says, "Found him." Well, Platinum says, "I know that person." Riley says, "He's the Team Galactic grunt who fused with Surge's consciousness." The advanced grunt says, "I never expected to see you here. You fixed the spy and used it to find me." Yeah, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting to see this guy again. I expected at the very least to find Surge. But the grunt then pushes Marley forward as Mira and Cheryl tend to Marley and everyone gets ready to move in. The grunt says, "Stop. I have no intention of fighting. I just mistook that girl for someone else who was after me." Riley says, "After you?" The grunt says, "Yes. I've defected from Team Galactic. I'm on the run." Palmer says, "What?" The grunt says, "We grunts were being controlled by a hive mentality, but I was bonded with Surge consciousness. Suddenly my mind awakened. I no longer knew who I really was. I was overcome with fear, so I ran away to Route 224. But then this girl passed by, so I ran into the Turnback Cave. Nobody goes near it since it's connected to the underworld." Platinum turns to the cave saying, "The underworld? Does that mean, could this be the gateway to the distortion world?" She goes to the grunt saying, "Answer me. I can enter the distortion world through this cave, can't I?" The grunt says, "You can." Riley is getting a read on the guy, and Palmer says, "What do you think, Riley?" Riley says, "I don't feel the animosity I once sensed from him. I think he's telling the truth. He really did escape from Team Galactic, and he's afraid." Marley says he was shivering with fear after he captured me, too. Platinum then commands, "Guide us there. I can't forgive you yet, but I have no choice now. I have to trust your word. The grunt turns away towards the cave saying, follow me. But suddenly, finally, Platinum gets a call on her Poketech. Finally, he answers saying, it's Pearl. And got the face on Palmer. Like, son? Platinum answers saying, hello? Pearl says, is that you, lady? It's me. Where are you now? Platinum says, send off Spring. Pearl says, I'll meet you there. Platinum says, great. And Dia, is he with you? Pearl says, Dia's. Meanwhile, Diamond awakens in the distortion world, saying, huh? Where am I? What's happened to me? Huh? So the attack linked him to the distortion world? Interesting. Yeah, I couldn't believe they'd actually kill him. She's like, no, you ain't killing this boy. You made him far too special to die like that. Friggin' had an Ash Ketchum moment there for a second. All right, and the last chapter of this video, adventure number 99, the final dimensional duel part 6. We pick up with everyone following the advanced grunt, well, the defected grunt, I should say, as he heads into the cave. Marley says, Mira, Cheryl, never thought I'd see you here. Mira says, same here, Marley. Marley says, I came to find out if what Professor Oak said in his letter was true. Cheryl says, a letter from Professor Oak? What did it say? Mira says, does it have anything to do with the Pokemon you're holding? Marley says, well, the grunt then interrupts saying, it's here. Oh, and we see the portal to the distortion world. Platinum says, right, this does look like the hole we saw, a spear pillar. The grunt turns away saying, I've guided you here. I did what you asked, now release me. But Platinum says, wait, before you go, we have to make sure this really leads to the sorcerer world. Like I said, I don't trust you. Dang. Baby girl has become so commanding with time. You'll accompany me until I save Takanuchi, but in return, I promise to protect you from Team Galactic. Oh, quid pro quo. She learned some dang good lessons over time. The grunt says, okay. You've got yourself a deal. He puts his hand through, saying, inside, there's no up or down, no right or left. There's a probability we'll be separated even if we hold hands going in. Be prepared. Platinum tells the group, let's go. They all enter into the distortion world. It seems as though Platinum has held onto the grunt's cloak while she's holding Palmer's hand. Cheryl, Marley, and Mira are all together, while Riley's just kind of hands in pocket, just cool, man, sliding on through. I mean, look, a guy with a suit that good, you look cool at all times. Platinum calls out, what? As they look around, Mira says, that water, it's flowing up from the bottom to the top. While Cheryl says, what? It's flowing backwards against gravity. Riley seems to hit in a way he wasn't expecting, while Palmer calls out to him, while everyone seems to just land in different areas. It's all over the place. My God, I can't imagine navigating this in the games. Oh God, they're upside down. Oh, my eyes. Ooh, my eyes just immediately read that as wrong. The upside down Cheryl, Marley, and Mira. Marley says, where did Palmer, Riley, and the others go? Mira says, they went that way. Well, Cheryl says, wait, we can't afford to be separated. Oh, but I hear the voice of Charon making his way through, saying, that little brat. Marley tells the others, shh, hide. While Charon says, there was no need for Rotom and Regigigas to be so hard on me. Are you alright, Heatran? I'll use Hyper Potion and Ice Heal on you in a minute. Marley says, Heatran? Well, Mira says, he's the one who attacked Buck. Ooh, yeah. Get that vengeance, girls. Yep, and they all... Mira says, follow them, and they all head off. Meanwhile, with Takanuchi, Oji says, things have been rather noisy lately, don't you think, Taka? Taka says, yeah. Pokemon cries people's voices. But then they hear the voices of Platinum and Palmer and saying, we need to find the others first, right? Only for Platinum finally come face to face with Taka and Uchi. They say, Platinum Blitz? And Platinum, she's taken aback. She says, can it really be you? They introduce themselves. Taka, Oji. And with a bow and a knee, they take her hand each. Taka saying, your father employed us to protect you. Oji says, Lady Platinum. Finally, after all this time. But suddenly they hear a roar. Platinum says, what was that? Well, Taka tells her, shh, duck. That's the ruler of this world. Platinum says, ruler? Giratina. Palmer points out saying, look, over there. As we see, oh man, Volkner and Flint going at Giratina. You know what? Yo, these two guys, they did not disappoint. Just come running in like, nah, we going straight for the big boss, mofo. They just going at Giratina, dodging its friggin' tendrils and stuff. My God. Oh, man. The characters in this series are just so wild, especially in this story arc. Platinum says, that's Sunnysore City's gym leader, Volkner. Who's that other person? Palmer says, one of the Sinnoh Elite Four, Flint. The grunt says, they entered the cave before you. Platinum says, really? But whatever for? Palmer says, it wasn't to help us, that's for sure. Cooperation is something we could never expect from those two. At least he knows. They must have come here to fight for something that's in their interests. And while Volkner and Flint are running, Flint says, whoa, this rocks, what fun! This guy's super strong. Volkner says, what did I tell you? But we're not here to battle merely for sport. You have to attack it with a stronger move. You can use lava plume, can't you? Flint says, but you'll get burnt to a crisp if I do. Volkner says, I'm not that weak. I'll use discharge at the same time. Don't worry about me. Go ahead and use the attack. Flint says, if you say so. Volkner says, really, it's no problem. Flint says, okay then. Here goes. 1, 2, mag mortar. Lava plume. While Volkner tells Electivire to use discharge, and it's a rain of fire that goes surging towards Giratina, whose little mouthpiece opens, and it unleashes its own blast in return, which utterly consumes Flint and Volkner. My God! I gotta give them props for just having the balls to go in just guns blazing like this, but, I mean, going out in the blaze of glory, I doubt they're dead, but man... I wouldn't be surprised if they're down for the count, as the blast reaches all the way up to where Platinum and the others are. Palmer says, it repelled their attacks with dragon breath. Platinum says, and seriously injured the two Pokemon who attacked it, as we see Flint, Volkner, just floating there with their Pokemon in the void. Platinum thinks to herself, even that powerful attack wasn't enough to stop it. And as Giratina just kind of looms over the two, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars are watching. I just kind of love how Saturn's mech is just holding them. You got Jupiter, who never moves, while you got Mars, who I can only imagine is just constantly swinging and moving and flailing all over the place. It's like Raven and Starfire from Teen Titans. Just, oh my God. Mars gets interested, saying, ooh, that was really something. And that electric type trainer is exceptionally good looking. Hey Saturn, catch that guy for me, will you? I have an Electivire too. We'll make a cute couple fighting that Pokemon. Oh my goodness. I do not ship it. Saturn says, stop it. We're not here to play around. While a voice calls out, that's right. Saturn turns, saying, Charon, what do you want? Charon, with a shit-eating grin, says, what kind of welcome is that? Why, I'm here to help Cyrus, of course. Saturn says, you filthy liar. Charon says, be that as it may, I'm being chased by some rather annoying people. I was hoping you three battle-experienced executives would give me a hand with them. Enter Marley, Mira, and Cheryl. As Mira cries out, look, there he is. Charon says, oops, I'm counting on you, thanks. The little rat runs away. He is like Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman, constantly just fleeing from one situation to the next. I swear, if that pod hooks up to a mech, literally just them. Mira, with her Alakazam, gives chase, saying, come back here, only to be blocked by Tangrowth. Saturn crawls out, Jupiter, why are you following his orders? While Jupiter says, he said he's looking for Cyrus. I have no choice. Mars jumps in, saying, I'll fight too. While Saturn says, Mars! And Marsha says, this looks like fun. Marley pushed down Shaman, who is like, kid, I didn't sign up for this. Just like, back away, Shaman. It's about to get ugly. Yep, Saturn joined in too, because he brought out his Toxicroak, while Mars brought out her Yanmega. Marley has brought out her Arcanine, and Cheryl has brought out her Blissey? Yep, Blissey. And everyone's itching to fight. Okay, I was not expecting this showdown to happen, but I'm all for it. Again, I said I wanted the trainers to strap up and do something. Here it is. Kick they butts. Like, go. Do it, do it, do it. Oh, no, 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 it's the end. Oh, it's the end. No. Oh, I was so ready for that showdown. But no, that's enough. That's enough. Okay, this has been fun. This has been a lot of fun, I gotta tell you. You know, Diamond and Pearl taking on Sharon, Heatran, Giratina, just Regigigas. Oh my god. I said it before and I said it again. Not always the biggest fan of Regigigas before, but now, just I'm in it for the long haul, man. Regigigas is something fierce. Oh my goodness. And Diamond's near-death experience, though, that took me off guard because I'm like, but I wasn't about to get sacked because I was like, no, something ain't right here. I wonder if everybody who gets hit by Giratina's attacks just gets sent to the Shadow Realm. But shoot, pretty much everyone's pretty much ending up in the distortion world. Ah, man, dang. This is gonna be wild when it comes to the conclusion. All the legendaries are ending up here one way or another. You know, the objective here was keep the legendaries as far away from Sharon as possible. But no, it's ended up bring the legendaries together for a battle royale. That's wild stuff. I mean, man, I have to assume that the connection between Marley and Shaman is happening because of the anime. I have to assume that because, let's see, Giratina and the Sky Warrior came out, 2008. And then, let's see. No, that's not what I was looking for. It's, when did Marley come into the picture? In the anime. Marley's anime episode was Keeping in Top Form, 2010. Yep. And this volume came out in 2012, I believe. Yep. So even if you're going off the release in the magazine, it's enough time where it's just like they might have seen the episode with Marley and Shaman and just adapted it from that. Because again, I read up on the anime episodes just to kind of get an idea of some of the characteristics of some characters in the series. Because I'm aware of a lot of them, just not fully from the game perspective. So I only take in so much, but it's an interesting connection they decided to go with. You know, deciding to go with something that kind of jives with the anime watching community. But they don't go too hard in terms of it. Flint and Volkner going at it, that was kind of cool. Not a bad payoff, all things considered, and to show just how devastating Giratina could be. Like, unless you got a legendary, man, you came to the wrong fight here, buddy. Ugh, man. Flint and Buck just could not catch a break. But, I wonder, is everybody gonna be okay? I mean, all these people ending up in the distortion world, how do you get back? And the Lake Guardians, they were observing things, but they haven't gotten involved just yet. Not to mention Darkrai. Where's Darkrai been this entire time? Because I'm waiting for Darkrai. Because Darkrai is the counterpart to Cresselia. And you have the thing of Nightmares. It was released by Surd for parts unknown. All these Pokemon fast asleep. That sounds like a Darkrai thing. As well as Eldritch Sun. So Darkrai is out there, but what is it doing? What is it up to? And where's Surd? We've had all these other galactic, team members and stuff come out. Where is Surd? Maybe she's pursuing Darkrai? That's the only other thing I can think of. I mean, there's only 5 more chapters left to this story arc. Just have to wait and see. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.